Here are 5 reasons to support the annual Catholic Appeal. 1. Emergency assistance to those in need. 2. Inspiring young people to grow in their faith. 3. Keeping our homebound connected in the faith. 4. Crisis help for young families. And 5. Catholic education, forming our future leaders in mind and heart. We are sowing the seeds of God's love with your contribution. Please donate today online at diospringfield.org.
Coming up on this edition of Real to Real.
Bethlehem House is eager to serve moms facing a crisis pregnancy. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have their story coming up.
I'm Rebecca Drake. I'll introduce you to Marian Johnson, the director of the Springfield Diocese's Black Catholic Apostolate, who shares the pivotal moment that inspired local Black Catholics to bring their unique gifts and ministry to the local church.
And a special musical tribute to all mothers. These stories are coming your way next on Real to Real. Hello and welcome to Real to Real. As we celebrate Mother's Day, we highlight an annual Catholic Appeal funded organization that is helping moms to choose life. Bethlehem House in East Hampton provides practical and emotional support for mothers facing a crisis pregnancy. All through the pandemic, Bethlehem House has continued to walk with women and their babies. Carolee McGrath has the story now of some amazing moms and volunteers who are truly living out the gospel of life.
Volunteers from Bethlehem House load up Debbie Cintron's car with baby gear, and she's going to need it. The young mom is due in July, expecting a baby boy. Debbie has had some challenges, but she says she also has faith in the Lord and Bethlehem House.
I was at the shelter at Catholic Charities. I just heard through the grapevine that the Bethlehem House was a great place to go for new baby stuff. I'm a single mom, struggling, just trying to get my bearings.
She's a beautiful girl, beautiful mom. She'll be a beautiful mom.
Pam Hibbert is the founder and executive director of Bethlehem House, a pro-life ministry supported by the annual Catholic Appeal.
He's watching over you and your baby. Yep.
The nonprofit helps women with baby items and offers free pregnancy resources, including counseling and referrals for employment, health care, and educational services. It was pretty emotional watching you with Debbie. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I was a Debbie back in the day, as they say. That's one of the reasons that the ministry is also here. You know, we all have a past. And I had a conversion from that past into doing the right thing. And it was like our Lord snatched me up and just put me here to do this.
All through the pandemic, Bethlehem House continued to serve women. But Pam says it was difficult due to necessary safety precautions, which they continue to follow. She says she's grateful for her volunteers. She has a veteran crew who comes each week to make quilts, sort clothes, do the books, and take calls for mothers in need. And new this spring, a group of college students from both UMass and Amherst College.
I come in once a week, and we make up 12 to 15 orders of full bags of multiple, packages of diapers and wipes and outfits and sleepers and creams and soaps. And that's every single week we come and make 15 full bags, sometimes more.
I've encountered the love that the Lord has for me, and I recognize that the Lord has that for every single individual, every single person as a person, and that includes babies, that includes, women who are suffering from being abused in any way, shape, or form. And so that means that I have to love every single human being, including, those unborn, those suffering mothers, which is the whole point of the Bethlehem House.
Kate Scott is a UMass sophomore and founder of the new Students for Life on campus. She's also a biochem major and tends to follow the science on the issue of when life begins.
I think society and the media really tries to dehumanize a fetal human, but I think we all innately know from our childhood that a baby in a mom's stomach is a human. And because of that, and because of all the scientific evidence that life begins at conception, I'm very pro-life.
Each new mom is given a beautiful basket like this one, which has about $500 worth of baby items inside. They're also offered a car seat, a pack and play, and a bouncy seat if they need it. And Bethlehem House continues to provide services until the baby is 18 months old. But to make this work, Pam says she needs more volunteers.
The ministry doesn't run without the volunteers at all. So they mean everything to me.
And everything they do is done with love, something Debbie says she's grateful for. And by the way, Debbie is moving into an apartment in mid-May.
Even if you're faced through adversity, you could rise from the ashes like a phoenix if you have a little bit of faith.
For more information on how you can help, call 413-527-2861. Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
I'm Dan Dumas with your Reel to Reel news briefs. Plans to build a new Newman Catholic Center on the campus of the University of Massachusetts in Amherst took one important step forward this past Tuesday. Sharon Roulier reports.
After several years of negotiations and planning, the official contracts were signed, signaling the beginning of construction of a new Newman Center. During a May 4th press conference, Springfield Bishop William Byrne, along with Newman Center Director Father Gary Daly, signed the agreement.
It's official. The contract is signed.
Northampton-based contractor Dan A. Sullivan & Sons will build a new $9 million center directly across from the current Newman Center, which was sold to the University of Massachusetts last year for $12.5 million.
It's an exciting day for our students, for our Newman community members, and for all the students that have come forward, for decades to Newman. But none of this can happen without a team. And I'm so grateful for the entire team that has surrounded me in this, that has got us to this point of the contract signing today. And it truly is exciting, and we just look forward to the steps, beyond this.
Groundbreaking for the new spiritual center will take place May 19th. We have a story with a link to a video of this past Tuesday's signing event available on iobserve.org. The Newman Catholic Center is also a recipient of annual Catholic Appeal funds. The 2021 drive is coming to the end of its public phase, and as Kathy Harrington reports, it is trending in a good direction.
Now at $2,391,650.96 from 13,903 donors, the Sowing the Seeds campaign remains ahead of last year, thanks in part to donors contributing for the first time, including families. Every gift matters. The root of our Catholic faith is to love and serve one another, and families are choosing to donate at whatever level is possible, setting a lasting example of stewardship for their children. The annual Catholic Appeal consistently and positively impacts Western Massachusetts. The ministries and community-based agencies support it with funding from the annual appeal change lives, ensure the future of the Church, and protect and preserve the dignity of human life. All annual Catholic Appeal funds are used in Western Massachusetts. There is still time to contribute to the 2021 annual Catholic Appeal. You can make a donation online at diospringfield.org/ACA or by calling 413-452-0670. I'm Kathy Harrington.
And of course, we at Reel to Reel add our gratitude, as a major portion of our funding comes from the ACA. In world news, last Saturday, May 1st, Pope Francis announced a month-long global rosary marathon seeking an end to the COVID-19 pandemic. Under the gaze of a 7th century icon of Mary, Pope Francis launched a month-long global recitation of the Rosary, pleading for Mary's intercession for the end of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Pope and about 160 young adults and families from Rome prayed in St. Peter's Basilica.
Nella presente situazione drammatica, carica di sofferenze e di angosce che attanagliano il mondo intero, ricorriamo a te, Madre di Dio e Madre nostra, e cerchiamo rifugio sotto la tua protezione.
The Pope said those intentions would include people who have died or fallen ill with the virus, their loved ones, and the medical personnel who cared for them, people who had lost their jobs, and students who longed to return to school and to their friends. Finally, there's no doubt that the last year has been incredibly difficult for doctors, nurses, and all healthcare providers who have been at the bedside of COVID patients. At Mercy Medical Center in Springfield, many members of the staff say prayer has been powerful and provides hope as they work around the clock to care for patients. Carolee McGrath has more.
Nurses, doctors, and all staff at Mercy Medical Center have been on the front lines in the last year, caring for patients battling COVID-19. For these healthcare heroes, it's more than a job, but a vocation.
It's been a really tough year. It's had a lot of ups and downs. It's definitely been hard.
Intensive care unit nurse Jessica Bailey says her faith has been critical for her in the last year as she has sat at the bedsides of COVID patients.
Before being intubated was really scary for a lot of them, knowing they may never come off the ventilator, and a lot of them didn't have their family members there, so we did sit with a lot of them and hold their hand. There's a few I sat with for like an hour before we had to put the breathing tube in and just prayed with them, or we let them know we'd be thinking of them or praying for them.
At a recent weekly roundtable, Bailey shared a reflection which focused on faith and treating and caring for the patient.
It was really just about the importance of being there and being present with your patients in that moment.
And their dedication hasn't gone unnoticed. On Patriots Day, veterans from the American Legion Post 338 in Southwick hosted a flag line to honor all of the healthcare workers for their efforts during the pandemic.
Not only did healthcare givers give the best in what they could give to make a difference, but then you had the public wrapping around the healthcare givers to say, thank you for all that you've done for people over the past year.
Deborah Bitzoli, president of Mercy Medical Center and its affiliates, says she and the entire staff hang on to hopeful moments, like when the whole staff joins in cheering people out of the hospital.
We certainly cheer a lot of those people on. Some of them write or call back to let us know how they're doing, and that it kind of gives you hope.
And hope and prayer continue to be part of the care Mercy provides, staying true to the mission of the founders, the Sisters of Providence, and now Trinity Healthcare. In Springfield, I'm Carolee McGrath.
Thanks, Carolee. And remember, you can stay informed on all the latest news in the Catholic Church locally and beyond by logging on to iobserve.org. There you can read articles written by our Catholic communication staff, as well as watch on-demand episodes of Real to Real. That's iobserve.org. I'm Dan Dumas, and those were your Real to Real news briefs.
Thanks, Dan. And there's still more ahead on this edition of Real to Real. In the second in her series, Becoming a Welcoming Church and Community, Rebecca Drake sits down with Black Catholic Apostolate Director Marian Johnson and Father Ryan Rooney with a musical gift for all mothers on this special weekend. These stories and more are still ahead on Real to Real.
Like Catholic TV on Facebook. Once you're there, you can join in on discussions, make friends with other Catholic TV fans, watch behind-the-scenes videos from the studio,
just finished this today,
and stay up to date with the Catholic world. All this at facebook.com/CatholicTV.
Here are 5 reasons to support the annual Catholic Appeal. 1. Emergency assistance to those in need. 2. Inspiring young people to grow in their faith. 3. Keeping our homebound connected in the faith. 4. Crisis help for young families. And 5. Catholic education, forming our future leaders in mind and heart. We are sowing the seeds of God's love with your contribution. Please donate today online at diospringfield.org.
You are watching Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Here again is your Reel to Reel host, Sharon Ruliger.
When Springfield's Holy Family Church closed back in 2009, the diocese's Black Catholic community brought its ministries and enthusiasm to St. Michael's Cathedral Parish. In the second part of her series, Becoming a Welcoming Church and Community, Rebecca Drake sits down with Marian Johnson, director of the Black Catholic Apostolate, who reveals how these special ministries were founded, what they have accomplished, and who has supported them along the way, including a future saint.
Growing up as a Black Catholic in the Springfield Diocese, St. Michael's Cathedral parishioner Marian Johnson attended Catholic elementary schools in Chicopee and Springfield, where her experience was one all too familiar to African Americans.
Even then, I was always the only person of color in the class and sometimes in the school.
She attended the former Cathedral High School, where once again she often found herself the only Black student in a sea of white faces.
You're used to it. It doesn't bother you. It didn't stop me from going to church, or it didn't stop me from going to school. I didn't complain about it.
Still, she says as she married and had her own family, she wondered what it would be like to study and worship with other Black Catholics. And in 1987, when the diocese's first Black priest, Father Warren Savage, brought a group of Black Catholics to the first National Black Catholic Congress in Washington, D.C., her eyes and her heart were opened.
And we got out there, and I could not believe my eyes. All of the Black people that were there, they were all Catholic. They had priests. They had nuns. I had never seen a Black nun before, not in person.
Local Black Catholics have continued to attend the Black Catholic Congress gatherings, which are held every 5 years. But this first one was life-changing for Marian and the other Black Catholics in the Springfield Diocese.
And the way that we were praise and worship, and the masses and all the prayer services, I just could not believe that I was there. And that was like my aha moment.
When the local parishioners returned to the diocese, they got busy.
And so when we left there and came back home, that was the impetus for us to start the Knights and Ladies of St. Peter Claver, the Black Catholic Ministry, the Gospel Choir. We did all that within a year or so of each other. And we've been trying to go strong ever since.
Over the years, the local Black Catholic Ministry has worked to help Black Catholic families with tuition costs and school supplies, and presented seminars on Black Catholics. Now, as the country and the Catholic Church confront long-standing issues of racism, there may be new opportunities for all Catholics to work together for healing and change.
The Black Catholic Apostolate is not limited to just Black people or people of color. We've had, over time, we've had people that belonged and helped us, and very passionate and just believed in our beliefs.
As people of faith work toward inclusivity and understanding, Marian says the first step is the act of welcoming, something all of us can do in our parishes.
It's very important that we as Black people are welcoming, and that we take the first step, especially when people come here, or when they're coming to our church, and not be standoffish. Go up to them and find out, and invite them.
And while the formal gatherings, the conferences, seminars, and Bible studies can help promote racial unity, social gatherings like the weekly coffee hour are just as important.
We have done this since Holy Family School was in existence. Every Sunday, we come together for coffee and donuts, or sometimes we have speakers if it's a special occasion. We have parties.
Looking forward to more opportunities for sharing and learning about each other, Marion acknowledges the scars of the past, the segregation and the exclusion experienced by Black Catholics, including her own parents. But even then, in 1940s Louisiana, there was support from a future saint, Catherine Drexel.
Sister Catherine, or Mother Catherine, I believe is how my mother referred to her, opened a school in their town and taught them there. And, she was the one that was responsible for my mother and my father getting schooled.
Inspired by a saint and by all those who have supported Black Catholics along the way, Marion believes better days are ahead.
I think that that's what I'd like to leave this whole thing with, is that you have to give other people an opportunity and give them a chance, and just believe that things can change. And it doesn't take a lot of work to make something change.
Learning from the past, looking toward the future, and working together to build God's kingdom in Western Massachusetts. For Real to Real, I'm Rebecca Drake.
As the pandemic restrictions are lifted, Johnson says she hopes to welcome new members to the Gospel Choir, the Knights and Ladies of St. Peter Claver, the Black Catholic Apostolate, and to all of the special gatherings hosted by the Black Catholics, including that beloved coffee hour. Contact information for the Black Catholic Apostolate can be found at a link on iobserve.org. And finally today, we have a special treat for all mothers, grandmothers, aunts, stepmothers, and all who serve as mother figures in our lives. Father Ryan Rooney, pastor of Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Parish in Springfield, has a musical tribute to everyone's mother, Mary, in a beautiful rendition of Ave Maria.
Gratia plena, Ave, Ave Dominus, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus, fructus ventris, ventris tui, Jesus. Ave Maria. nobis peccatoribus, ora pro nobis, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis, nostrae, in hora mortis nostrae, in hora mortis nostrae. Ave Maria.
Thanks so much to Father Ryan Rooney. Such a beautiful gift. I hope all you moms enjoy your special day, and happy Mother's Day to my mom. There she is right there. She's such a peach. I know you can hardly see her, and that's the way she likes it. And for this week, that's Reel to Reel. Thanks so much for watching. Before we go, if you haven't already given to the 2021 Annual Catholic Appeal, please consider making your contribution today. Reel to Reel and the Chalice of Salvation weekly televised Mass are both supported in part by donations to the appeal. To help fund these programs, as well as the more than 40 ministries and services supported by the ACA, make your donation through our secure site at diospringfield.org. And if you need help making your gift, call the Annual Catholic Appeal office at 413-452-0670, and Kathy Harrington will assist you. And be sure to follow the latest news of the Catholic Church, both here in the Diocese of Springfield and around the world, on our news and information site, iobserve.org, and also on Facebook at Catholic Communications. For our viewers on WWLP TV 22, due to NBC programming, Reel to Reel will be off next weekend, but I will see you right back here in 2 weeks for another edition of Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. See you then, and happy Mother's Day.
Reel to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the Annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.